Okay, Chapter 5, Section 7. We are going to take graphing those inequalities one step further, and now we're going to graph systems. But before we do that, we're going to look at the substitution method, and possibly they're going to give us a point, and we're going to see if that holds true. So let's look at the equation. Y is less than 2x. Y is less than 2x. There we go. And then our second one is going to be y is greater than or equal to x plus 1. Okay. And so we're going to look at two different equations, but we're going to sub in one point. So let's look at the point -2, 0. So just like in the last section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in, both equations, and see if it works. If it works on both of them, then it is a solution. If it only works on one of them but not the other, then it's not a solution. So over here, everywhere I see a y, I'm going to replace it with 0. Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with -2. So I have 0 is less than -4, and that is true. 0 is less than -4. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's not good math. Is 0 less than -4? 0 is not less than -4. So if it doesn't satisfy that equation, then we don't even have to check the second one. We automatically know that this is not a solution. So just substituting them in and finding out if they satisfy both equations. In this case, they do not. So now let's look at graphing them. Maybe. All right, so let's take a look at graphing. So first we're going to graph y is less than or equal to 3. And then we're going to graph y is greater than x plus 2. So we're going to do them individually. So y is less than or equal to 3. That's going to be a horizontal line because it just has a y. And because it's less than or equal to, I know that that's going to be a solid line. And so I'm going to go solid line here. Draw a little arrow on the end there. And so because it's less than or equal to, I know that it's going to be shaded down. Now, the coloration is going to be good here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and color the entire region, and you'll see why here in just a minute. You won't have to do this every time, but I'm just proving or showing the point of what's going to happen. And so these would be all of the values that would satisfy that equation. But we are going to graph another equation. Excuse me. And some of you are probably can imagine what's going to happen. Let me get that all the way down there. Awesome. Okay. And so we're going to look at our second equation. And I know that it has a y-intercept of 2. And so I'm going to go on my y-axis. And I need to put it in the right place. I have a y-intercept of 2 right there. And then my slope is 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 1. Up 1 to the right 1. And in this case, This is a dashed line. Now I need to test my point. In this case, there's my 0, 0. So I'm going to plug that in. This is from the work from the day before. Everywhere I see an X or Y, I'm going to replace it with 0. So that gives me 0 is greater than 2. And that is not true. And so I do not want to shade the region that includes that. I want to shade the other region. So I'm going to get a different color. And watch what I'm going to do. So this would go like this. And shade, and that did not do what I wanted it to do. Let's pick a different color. That did what I wanted it to do. Sorry, I'm not good with colors, guys. There we go. So I do this because I shade above, and look what happens. So give me just a second to get this in. And I like the way this shows the difference in colors, because what happens is where it has changed colors, that is our solution. That is our overlapping region. That's where the two graphs cross each other. So anything inside of that, if I were to pick, let's say, this point right here. Let me get that point. There we go. If I were to pick that coordinate right there, and that's -7, 1. If I put that coordinate into both of those, it should come out to be true. Well, let's see. Our y coordinate is 1. So is 1 less than or equal to 3? Yes, that's true. Our y coordinate is 1. Our x coordinate is -7. Is 1 greater than -7 plus 2, which is -5? Is 1 greater than -5? That is true. So our overlapping region is accurate. And so that's a little under 8 minutes. We've got 5-7 graphing system inequalities.